Is he trading right now on FTX? What? Right. Well, today we have a very weird episode where we're going to be talking about a global escalation of tensions, effectively the biggest conflict that Europe has seen in many decades, and this is all being set off by Russia and Vladimir Putin. So today we're going to go through what's going on in crypto and what the outlook is, what my outlook is for how the crypto market reacts to everything going on right now out there in the world, of which there are many absolutely monstrous sized events happening that do affect this market. And I want to be clear, this is not all bad, and it's definitely not all good. There are certainly some absolute silver linings here, and that's what I'll be looking forward to and giving you my strategy as to how I'm going to handle these next few weeks and months. If you guys are excited, smash that like button. Let's get into it. So the first thing I want to say here is, as Benjamin Cowan says, these times are crazy, these times are difficult, but the number one thing that you want to be around for is when things reach what we call max pain in crypto. Now, after 3 months of downtrend, anyone who hadn't been through a bear market before, congratulations, you've earned your stripes and you are now a crypto bear market survivor. But the trick here is that you need to stay around. You need to stick around and pay attention, because when the lights do flip back on here and things warm back up in crypto land, that's when all of the best opportunities are. Not when things have been bullish for 6 months, but when things just start heating up and the ice starts to thaw. The good and the bad of these artificial crises is they could be made up and hurt the market at any time. However, when they do work themselves out, these man-made crises, well, that can lead to long and prosperous resolutions in the market. So just as quickly as this situation with Russia has emerged, it can disappear and it could lead to a monstrous growth. So the trick here is to make sure you stay engaged and don't just write off crypto as never going to go up because these other things are happening. So staying engaged, again, like we've been saying since the beginning, is the absolute best alpha in the space. You do not need to make aggressive moves right now, and not financial advice, but in my opinion, probably shouldn't. So what happened with this morning is we got the news that effectively Putin has recognized Donetsk and Luhansk in eastern Ukraine as independent states. He's saying effectively these two regions aren't actually Ukraine. These are random independent states. Therefore, we're not invading Ukraine. Effectively, he's saying we're considering these some other place. And because of that, if we go in there, we're not invading Ukraine. It's a pretty crazy way to do it. But effectively, this is his declaration that Russia is going to go into Ukraine. Again, I don't know the full details. I'm just telling you what it seems like, what the experts have said it's like. I am no expert. I am way out of my lane when it comes to global geopolitical tensions. I actually majored in public policy and focused on Cold War policy when I was still in college. So I have done a little bit of research, but look, I'm not going to claim that I really know what's going on here or that I know the end game for any of these countries involved. Consider me just another lay person reading the news here and trying to read the tea leaves, because any person, yourself included, can try to look one step deeper and see where this is heading. So what does it mean for your pocketbook? What does it mean for crypto? This is the crux of what I wanted to talk about. Now, I really agree with this breakdown from Alex Kruger, and he says framework for trading a Russian invasion of Ukraine. Now, situation one, if Russia announces full de-escalation, strong rally. That is now out of the window. Again, this tweet was from 2 days ago. So that is now out of the window. That base case cannot happen. So we have two other cases here. If Russia invades eastern Ukraine, sharp drop, bottom soon after, that would be the best possible scenario, is that Russia invades a part of Ukraine, these eastern Ukrainian regions that he's just declared independent states, but that it stops there, that it's just the end of the escalation. He says if Russia also invades western Ukraine, troops move from Belarus towards Kiev, bottomless pit. Now, I don't know about bottomless pit, but the reality is that if Russia invades the western part of Ukraine, the general consensus from people smarter than me is that this would lead to incredible market turmoil. And let's just be honest, it's unlikely that people are all going to start aping into Bitcoin right at that moment. People will probably look for security and certainty in these crazy times. I'm an eternal optimist, as you guys have probably learned on this channel. So I believe that this is the most likely case, and certainly the one for the hope of all humanity in the world that we see. Because if this starts to happen, well, you're going to have to turn to people who know much more about this stuff than me to understand what happens next. However, if this happens, this is where you really want to be paying attention, because this could form another sort of March 2020 moment where we have this massive massive global crisis that gets a swift resolution, like we saw with the coronavirus pandemic and then the Fed reaction and the up-only market that lasted for about 2 years after that. This could be a similar moment where we get uncharted fear in the markets and then we get a bottom formed immediately after the fears of some worldwide kind of conflict totally subside and business as usual. I personally think in this era of extreme nuclearization, it would be unlikely that we would see anything escalate to full-blown war because we all know that we have mutually assured destruction. Again, I don't want to get into this because I don't really know about the way that these nations are interfacing on that level right now. But what I'll say is that if this does subside with just the invasion of eastern Ukraine, this is hopefully the situation we're looking at, which would mean that there would be huge opportunities to get in as soon as the market normalizes and a bottom's formed. And we'd probably see some absolute rocket jets in the market right after this happens. That would be the optimistic scenario and something we should absolutely be hoping and praying for. I mean, me personally. That's what I'll be doing. But strangely, there are not all red flags here. In fact, there's a bunch of bullish news for crypto mixed in here with this Russia news. So the first thing is we know that Russia's been pushing forward frameworks for crypto adoption very aggressively over the last few days and weeks. And now we see that Russia's largest social media network with over 100 million active users is going to support NFTs. We also have Biden supposedly issuing some crypto executive order coming next week, which seems like it's an order of an order or an announcement of an announcement, effectively pushing for crypto regulations, but I don't know if any actual regulations will be coming down the pipe, so we'll just have to wait and see. It might just be more of the same, maybe just pushing for a hastened timeline on crypto regs. But I want to talk a little bit about this because this might be the very most important point I can make. What we're seeing right now in the crypto markets are man-made crises. These are not native issues within crypto like we saw in 2018, when all of the ICOs from the 2017 era were aggressively selling ETH on the way down, driving prices further and further down so that they could pave their runways to build their products without getting left holding nothing as crypto eviscerated into dust. That had nothing to do with a Fed rate change, with a global pandemic, with stock markets correcting, as Kyle Davies said, 3 sigma, and definitely nothing to do with another world war. This is all man-made. And that's not to say that it ends tomorrow, but it's to say that when these forces do resolve themselves, that this should lend itself to a massive upswing in the market. Crypto is growing. It's aggressively growing. And what we'll talk about here at the end of the episode is that really video games and metaverse seem to be the areas that seem least phased by this. If you look at certain NFT projects like NFT worlds and other sectors of the NFT market, which we'll talk about at the end of the episode. But the key here is that these are not the same type of bear market. In 2022, we had the NASDAQ 3 sigma correction, Fed spooking interest rates, quantitative tightening, and now Putin going absolutely rogue. These are things that were not the case in 2018. So comparing 2018 and 2022, I think is a very false comparison. It should not be the comparison. Moreover, we've seen that COVID has almost completely dropped off, almost as fast as it came in. Omicron is just completely gone. There's literally no COVID. And so the threat of pandemic has now been removed from the FUD bucket. And hopefully we can see some resolutions of other external man-made or non-crypto made crises that would lead to more upswing in the markets. But what I want to talk about here is the gaming movement, because this is only getting stronger by the day. Now we have FTX announcing that they've created a gaming unit to boost NFTs adoption by game publishers. We also see projects like NFT Worlds going on absolutely crazy bull runs. I'll admit I slept on NFT Worlds because I wasn't completely clear that they would maintain the lead. Look, we can all cope, but what I'll say is that it makes me so excited for the future of NFTs, gaming, and metaverse, knowing that even in the worst of worst storms for this industry, we're seeing mini bull markets in sectors of this market, and that is extremely exciting. I do believe that play and earn, games that are super fun or as fun as their Web2 competitors, if not more fun, are set to have an amazing effect on the growth of crypto and NFTs. I believe and have believed for 4 years now that this is the way that we break the cycle of boom and bust that is driven by Bitcoin halvings and wild parabolic bull markets and altcoin seasons. I believe that this is our key to effectively breaking that sort of toxic cycle. More on this in a second. So what is the way that you can profit from this crazy move? Well, a lot of people will be trying to spot bottoms, to aggressively catch the knife, to call and end tensions, to effectively spot the reversal of the market. And in my opinion, that is extremely dangerous to do. The real easy mode way to play this, and by the way, this is my strategy. It's not financial advice. I don't know anything about global conflicts like these. You'll have to talk to someone else who might be an expert in this. But the easy thing to do when aggressively looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some of the altcoins is to understand that probably waiting for a clear trend to make any big moves is the easiest. I have a bag of Bitcoin and Ethereum and of course big stable coins that I just leave there and they sit there. But the reality is that I'm not going to be aggressively trying to long AVAX or Sol or Luna or really try to play these games that could end up backfiring on me when I know that the market will give signs of stability and a reversal and a reset. And when that happens, it's going to be really fun to start playing micro caps again. Now, in the meantime, there is still magic happening in NFTs. This is the only sector that I see proper upside in. We're seeing this with NFT worlds going on this unstoppable bull run. We're also seeing fungible tokens like Magic exploding because of the success of their NFT ecosystems. This makes me so excited as pretty much my entire focus right now is on intrinsically fun play and earn video games as well as an NFT marketplace, both of which seem like the perfect products for the moment that we're in crypto, as well as going forward as the world recognizes that this is the key use case that the people want from the crypto industry. It might not be the most highbrow, but people like to have fun. They like to escape their day with simple dopamine releases, and having video games that have economies in there that can be owned by players is a major step forward for the world. I know some people dislike the idea, but I believe it's an unstoppable force of the internet that once players can own the game economies, the world will shift into their hands and we'll see some absolutely magnificent growth in that sector. So for that reason, I believe that my best impact on this entire community in the market will be focusing primarily on those products and their releases. So my content will slow down a little bit here as I've been knee deep doing insane days getting ready for imposters and the marketplace releases. I believe that those are the ways I can do the most good for this ecosystem. And so I'm forcing all of my energy into those projects, but I will be here coming with at least 1 or 2 videos a week and overall keeping you updated with interesting content that I think can enrich the community, bull or bear market. With that said, I hope you guys are all having an okay day. These times are like really crazy. And if it helps, just know that I'll be here with you. We'll be here together. I hope you're doing okay. Genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, this stuff is super wild. It can be even a bit scary. And we're all really going through this together. So I believe that even though some people will get bearish and there will be vitriol because the numbers are going down during the bear markets, which it's hard to argue that we're not in a bear market after 3 months of downtrend, these are when these really rock hard, durable communities can form around ideas, projects, and movements that can potentially benefit the entire crypto community. So I'm excited to see the hardcores that emerge that aren't just here for an overnight flip, but want to come in, add value, and help grow products and platforms that can truly spill over into the mainstream. And that's why I'm so excited about what comes next in crypto. And I hope you just remain focused, remain engaged. You don't have to risk a lot of money to stay engaged with this world. And I sincerely believe the people who do stay engaged will be there for when the weather warms up, the ice begins to thaw, and some of the world's best opportunities emerge. That said, I'm EllioTrades. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you liked the video, like the video, and I'll see you very soon on the next episode.